Guys, it's Ramzilla here. So right now, this is gonna be my last review for the Guinea Pig series. Today, we're gonna be talking about my favorite one of them all. Guinea Pig Part 6, Mermaid in a Manhole. This one was my favorite out of all the Guinea Pig movies, and that includes Flower, Flesh and Blood, He Never Dies, Devil's Experiment. This one, hands down, tops all of them. Honestly, I loved this movie. Alright, if you don't know what Mermaid in a Manhole is, although it should be self-explanatory in the title, Mermaid in a Manhole is about this guy, this painter who finds this mermaid in a sewer, manhole. And, he decides to start painting her, but she appears to have a wound. And so he decides to take her into his home, and things just go very wrong. Now, the reason this movie was my favorite was because of the mermaid itself. Her fin, her tail fin, it looks real. It looks like, they took scales and just put it on the suit or whatever and put her on. Like, this suit is amazing, honestly. You could actually, if you were to film this back in the day, film this mermaid and then have her go into the ocean, I'm pretty sure people would think that she's a real mermaid. Because that fin just looks so slimy and scaly and I loved it. So, anyways, moving on. As the movie progresses, her wound starts to get worse, and this is why I honestly feel like so much effort was put into this one. Like, besides Flower, Flesh and Blood, I'm sure that one took a lot of skill along with He Never Dies. I'm pretty sure all the Guinea Pig movies took a lot of hard work. But I feel like they put their all into this movie. Because, besides the fact that this one is based on a manga, and the fact that the same artist of the manga directed this one, directed his own manga into a movie, it's really cool because that hardly ever happens. You don't see J.K. Rowling directing the Harry Potter movies. You don't see, what's that guy's name? I forgot that guy's name. The guy that made the Aragon books, Christopher something. You don't see him directing the Aragon movie. Their name is mentioned, but they're not directing it. So that's what made this movie really special because, this guy took his vision and brought it to life. So, as her, back to the movie, I was saying, as her wound progresses, it just starts turning into an infection and all these lumps start forming on her, entire body, her chest, her stomach, and they just move up. Now, they're kind of like giant zits. Have you guys seen those videos on Facebook or YouTube or whatever, where they have these giant fucking zits on their arms or backs or whatever, and they take this small little razor and just cut them in, yeah. So what the painter does to relieve her, I guess, he starts cutting them open, and they just, start pouring out pus, and that infection looks so real, and over time, the makeup done on her face is just, you can see her deteriorating, losing her life. And, you wish you could do something to save her, but you can't. Or to slap maybe the artist and be take her somewhere to the hospital or something. Oh, man, so you wish you could, help her, but you can't. So you're just seeing her life slowly fade away. And, it gets really intense, and it gets really gross, but, I'll get into that in a minute. She seems to be, in a lot of pain, and he just keeps on drawing her and whatnot. And this is where I'm going to be getting into some spoilers, so if you don't want to know what happens, from here. I'm not gonna talk about the ending at all because that ending was kind of a shocker for me. And if you guys watch this movie, I want you guys to be in shock as well. I'm just gonna talk about this small little part that kind of got me, because I thought it was really cool. But if you don't want to know what happens from here on out, then I would suggest you skip ahead and see what I rate this movie. And if you've already seen it or just want to see what I think about it, then feel free to stay. As her wounds or infection gets like to her face and stuff, her like zits start like popping, but worms start coming out of them, like big ass worms. And the guy, he like gets close like to her and starts picking them off, and they just keep coming out, and that was really fucking gross for me. And I'm not usually squeamish, but this got me. And they do like these insane close-ups of like her wounds, or like, her bubbles, and like you see the worms start popping out. Like, oh man, that's what I'm saying. This movie must have taken a lot of fucking work. Can you imagine like the hours of makeup this girl must have gone through for the Evil Dead remake, the Mia makeup, the Evil Dead Mia, whatever. That makeup process took about 3 to 4 hours, I believe. Can you imagine like this girl having to go through this makeup process every single fucking day for however long this movie was filmed for? Just like adding these lumps and lumps and layers and layers and layers of makeup and shit. That must have been really tough on her, and you gotta respect her for that. You gotta respect the makeup artist for that as well. And you gotta respect her because, these worms are real worms, and she's just covered in them like everywhere. Oh man, that was insane. And then, after those worms are done coming out, she starts puking worms. Like, ugh. Now, this is where, they didn't show her puking worms. They just add the noise. And then they put the camera down and the worms just start falling. So, I don't know if she really was puking worms. Or if they just, she made the sound to puke. And then they just dropped the worms. But, yeah. And then, as, the movie goes on, her, insides just burst open and these big ass fucking worms come out. Like, they're not monsters or anything, they're just really big worms that just part of her stomach along with her intestines and shit. And that's where I'm gonna stop. I'm not gonna tell you anymore. I'm not gonna tell you the ending. That's all you're gonna know from me. If you want to see this movie, I really do recommend to watch it because the practical effects in this movie are insane. So, what am I gonna give this movie? I'm gonna give this movie 100. 100 out of 10. Yeah, I know, it's exaggerating, but this movie was amazing. The makeup process, the story, the practical effects. This movie was amazing. I love this movie. Honestly, this was one of my favorites out of this was my favorite out of all the Guinea Pig movies. So, this movie is amazing. So please go watch it. And this is where our Guinea Pig reviews will end. I hope you enjoyed my reviews. This is the first video you're watching about the Guinea Pig reviews. I have them all in order, so you can go 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, or you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's up to you. I've done all the reviews, and, well, those are my opinions on the Guinea Pig movies, the original ones. I'll try to get to American Guinea Pig as soon as I can. Once again, thank you very much for sticking around watching these reviews. I really want to know what you guys think about these movies, so if after you watch a review, be sure to leave a comment down below. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more reviews. It would mean a lot. So, once again, this is Ramzilla signing off.